Hi, everybody. I'm Greg Maudsley. I work in the product marketing team for the Security Cross product group. I'm really excited today to be joined by Dr. Asif Rashid, who is the CIO of Robi Axiata, which is one of the largest mobile carriers in Bangladesh.
Robi Axiata Limited, a leading mobile network operator in Bangladesh, is a part of telecom giant Axiata Group Berhad with footprints across the globe.
So, welcome, Dr. Rashid.
Thank you, Greg. Very nice to be here with you today, and looking forward to have a good session here.
Great. Well, hey, I thought we could maybe start off by you just giving us a little bit of background about yourself and then maybe focus a little bit on your role today and your span of influence and responsibility.
Yeah, so I'm currently the CIO of Robi Axiata. And Axiata is a Malaysian-based telecom company here, running operations in 7 Asian countries. So I have joined Axiata for the last 5 years in this position. And prior to that, I was with Telenor. I was in 4 or 5 operations of Telenor, hopping on and off in Asia and Europe. And, there was probably a decade there in Telenor. And before that, I was with Siemens. So altogether, I'm in the industry for last 20 years and pretty much in the space of telecom, trying to help the telecom operators here to do new things, and enjoy myself. And in my personal life, I'm married with 3 kids. My daughter is a teenager. And in these COVID days, you know how it feels when you are trapped with 3 kids in one house. So, but jokes apart, it's pretty good. So I'm a happy guy, and I always look forward to do new things. And that's pretty much defines who I am. So over to you, Greg.
Oh, yeah, great. Yep, very much similar boat, working from home full time, kids doing school remotely. So it's the new reality for all of us, I think. Thank you for taking the time today. I thought we'd start off on the topic of digital transformation. We talk to a lot of customers, and the overwhelming majority of them are undergoing some sort of digital transformation initiatives. And just kind of in a nutshell, does that resonate with you? Is that something that you are undertaking within your organization as well?
Well, Greg, if you look at the telecom space, right? So digital transformation is not a choice; it's an obligation. I mean, we have to go through it in order for merely surviving the industry. It's more of have to do. So yes, like others, we here are trying to obviously transform digitally, not only when it comes to the offerings to customers, but also internally, culturally. We are trying to see how we can digitally transform the business models. And just to be specific to your question, yes, we have started the journey, I think 3 to 4 years back, and we had a long roadmap in our hand, and we say to ourselves that if we have to really grow our business in this tough time where voice is degrowing in this part of the world, data is the new currency. So we have done a lot of things in last 3 years, and we have quite our hands full for the next few years as well, in terms of offering new digital services to the customers, digital way of handling transactions, digital way of distributing our products, as well as the digital apps to map to the needs of the customer's digital lifestyle from telcos. So yes, we are trying to digitally transform ourselves as well.
That's great, and that's in line with what we're hearing across the board and across industries as well. And so I think we'd be curious to understand, what kind of challenges do you face as you're going through this evolution, and specifically, what type of application security challenges are you facing?
Well, Greg, like I just mentioned, that we had been a traditional TSP, telecom service provider, and then we wanted to be a DSP, with a true digital service provider, and that single word changes a lot of things, in your approach, in your business models, the way you handle your customers, the data privacy part, as well as the security. So this inorganic growth, if I can use that word, I think the growth took us by surprise. So we, at one hand, were launching series of new services and applications for our customers, but on the other hand, the legacy that we had was hard to really let go of. So we wanted to make sure that whenever we launch a new service, we do it be the first in the market, take the first movers advantage. But when we tried to do that, first few times it worked fine. After that, we were into a bottleneck. So every time we try to launch a new service, we found that, the cybersecurity part is not taken care of. There are not enough, bandwidth for the team to really do the works in hand. So we got into a bottleneck, and that was the biggest challenge when we looked into a solution which sort of can take out all the heterogeneity from the network, give us a consolidated one single appliance, and sort of give the operation team something to do, on the fly through a configuration, or rather than scripting, whole night to launch a new service. So this was the biggest challenge when we tried to launch new services in the space of, today's context.
Oh, that's great information. And one of the things that we're hearing from customers around the same types of situations that you're having is this relationship between app developers, DevOps, and the SecOps teams, as well as the NetOps teams to a certain extent. And we see the app developers and the DevOps teams really defining the pace of business, and that security oftentimes will struggle to keep up. And as you mentioned, provide those uniform controls across multiple clouds and environments. So how do you see those teams working together? And who was it that finally landed on, hey, I think F5 can solve this problem for us?
Yes, you rightly pointed out. I mean, I have almost 200 guys in my DevOps team, and those guys are predominantly coders and want to do stuff, overnight. So what happened is that at one point, in one side, they were being bogged down with all the realities and all the expectations of the business folks to come up with a new product or service every time. But when it came to the launch team, who were responsible for maintaining the operational side of it, they got completely choked up, and they basically were complaining to me that if that is the pace of work that you expect out of us, you have to give us something better. And I'm talking about a situation when we had the web application security, the network application security tied up pretty much to each application. So it was like a pillars of monolithic era, where every application, every DevOps team were trying to do stuffs around web application and the firewall thing on their own, and it created a lot of as I said, ad hocism in the network side, ultimately prohibiting us from launching a service faster. So that's where we came up with this idea that, guys, if we if we want to survive in the market, we have to do something fundamentally different. I mean, it's all right that the DevOps team, with their agility, they will probably be the same animals they are today. No offense, but when it comes to launching a service, we have to really make sure that we streamline the web application layer, with a solution that's robust enough, scalable enough, flexible enough, configurable enough, and it's secured enough to add to the onion cybersecurity layer that we have, and then give that flexibility back to the DevOps teams, confidence back to the DevOps team, that, guys, do what you will want to. We are ready with the operational part being taken care of. So that's the context we looked at F5 to be precise.
But from the customer perspective, right? I mean, that's all internal. Did you recognize any benefits externally to your customer base?
Well, Greg, from customers, I always use the term that no news is good news. If they're not calling you up, probably they're happier. They would never call you to say I'm happy, right? They would only call you when they have a problem. But yeah, I think the customer's life got easier. Specifically, if you look at, as I was telling you, that we were pretty consistent in launching new things in the market over a period of last 3 years. So there was an expectation grown in the customer's mind that, guys, next week we are expecting something new from Robi Axiata. But what happened in the past was, just because we had this monolithic web application layer, we were pretty late in launching new services. I think what happened now is that they're getting the services pretty regularly, and in terms of getting the services seamlessly in a much secured environment, there the customers got benefited mostly.
Have you seen any real changes aside from remote working around security, around the way you're doing business as it relates to the pandemic?
I think if I be very specific, as I told that the team was the way they were handling the operational issues, the configuration works and everything, it sort of it's sung a song that we are still in the legacy. So the biggest advantage by coming to F5 was, it's largely configurable capabilities, has reduced their operational hazard and hassles, and they have now freed up time to go and upskill and have a Coursera course. So that's the biggest advantage, when we moved to this solution from an operational angle that was non-existent when we didn't have the solution.
All right. Well, this has been very, very helpful. I thought I would just close it with one kind of, well, I don't know if it's a random question, but again, it's a little bit of a non sequitur relative to what we've been talking about, but hopefully you'll find it entertaining. So, if you could wave a magic wand and make one change to your application infrastructure, regardless of the budget or resources, to optimize what it is that you're doing in your application delivery, what would it be?
So I think I would definitely want the application to be completely containerized. It has to be, cloud native and absolutely based on microservices. So that's the whole package to me, for any application that goes live and clubbed with, world-class, to the extent we can go, a cybersecurity framework to put into, the best test before it's launched in the market. So I think you said that what I would change. I think I would change all the legacy applications that I have overnight, convert them into completely, as I said, modular, containerized applications with a solid onion ring fence around it so that I can sleep at night and don't have to really worry about, I'll have to worry about, but I'll less worry about applications being, DDoS attack or botnet attack or, a malware attack. So that's the thing I would like to change, given that's an option.
Thank you for taking the time to meet with us today and sharing the wealth of information you have. And hopefully F5 can continue to help you with your business and your security needs moving forward.
Thank you, Greg. It was a great time here as well for me. Thank you very much for this.